the Elysian Acoustics Lab Apostle. Let's talk about it. Alright, so this is an interesting IEM. This is a very expensive IEM, around $1,800, and this was sent to me as a sample for review. There's a lot to be said about this IEM. It has the same driver count as the more expensive Elysian Annihilator 2023. It's taking the place of a much beloved IEM, the Elysian Diva, also sometimes the Elysian Diva 2023, which is basically tuned the exact same. So it has a lot of hype behind it and a lot of things out there about this IEM. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that I don't love this IEM, but I wanted to tell you there's a lot of hype here and to buy things responsibly. I've done an unboxing for this video as well, and I will be doing a headfi review that's quite lengthy, around, I don't know, 4,500 words, something like that. And so it has a lot of humor, a lot of jokes that I don't want to say here. So if you want to know more, I would encourage you to look at that review and then ask me questions there or in the YouTube comments below. Let's start by looking at the build quality of this lovely IEM. I used to not like metallic shells, but I've kind of fallen in love with them, with like the Dita Mecha and now the Apostle, a few other IEMs, but those are the first ones that come to mind. This is a very nice shell. It's a little bit smaller than the Annihilator 2023 you see on the right, and it's a full metal shell, which means I think it's very durable and I'm not worried about it breaking. So the build quality and feel and ear is very nice. I like the general feel and sense to this. You know, it's not very blingy. It's kind of almost like a gunmetal gray and black, and I dig that about this IEM, but it's a design choice that may not be for everybody. But personally, I really like the style. I love the black nozzles, and I think there's a lot to be had about the look and feel of this IEM, and I do feel that it's very durable and comfortable for me and my ears, so that's a very positive thing to note. In my unboxing, which is just meant to be a real quick kind of unboxing to get hype out there and let people know, they did include some literature. I kind of want to show this to you guys now. If you want to pause the video or whatever, you can take a look at it. It's pretty interesting. Just gives you basically a lot of the information you would find on their website. If you want to take a look at their website to purchase this, you can all see that there. And so you'll notice that it's very nice, you know, kind of brochures and stuff that come in the box, which is, you know, a nice touch because all this is going to cost a little bit of money, and it feels like a nice gesture. I like the colors on it. I like the design, and it's just kind of fun to have for your IEM. I like this puck case that it comes with. I like the logo on top. I felt a lot of these, and I've opened a lot of IEMs over my days, and this one feels like it's well made. Just in hand, it doesn't feel like it's gonna collapse or that I can break it with just a little bit of, you know, strength, or if I drop it. It feels like it's durable, looks nice. It's not a dust magnet like the Annihilators. So I really like this case, and I think it's a well done case. It, again, feels good in hand. I haven't like thrown rocks at it or done anything crazy, but I really feel that this is durable and well made and lovely. On the bottom, those aren't finger puppets. They're actually little IEM booties, which, you know, are kind of nice. They kind of has a fancy ribbon. I probably wouldn't use them personally, but they're a nice touch for people that like them. There's the tips. The cable, it is a very nice cable. I love how it's red and black at the top, and it just kind of looks really nice and feels good in ear. Now the chin slider is a little bit slidey, but I don't really use a chin slider like that, so for me it's not that big of a deal. You can tell it has a little bit of memory here. The Y split does kind of have a little branded Elysian logo on it, which is cool. I like the feeling of it. It feels subtle. Sometimes I feel like I got a little bit of noise when I was moving around without playing music, but it was very slight, very minor, and it's a nice overall design of a cable overall. Like, I love this cable. If this cable is available to buy, I definitely would consider buying one separately, as I like it that much. It feels plush, it feels pliable in hand, and overall I just think the cable, just a really well done cable. This is easily one of my favorite cables I've ever had. The shell also has red, right, and black connectors to show you which side is which. So how does this IEM sound? Clean, clear, dark and detailed. There's going to be a lot of comparisons. A lot of people are going to ask things, and I have written quite a bit about a comparison to the Annihilator 2023, the Diva, and the Monarch Mark III. I'm going to try to go through a few kind of rapid fire, and I will cover those as well, some of my general thoughts, but it's hard to encapsulate so many feelings in such a short time during a video, and I try to keep my videos short. So I will say that if I had to talk about the sonic signature of this IEM, that it's kind of neutral with a bass boost with kind of the same special magic as the Diva. There is a little bit of a 1K energy that kind of gives it a different approach and different a feel, but there's a darkness, a beautiful darkness about this IEM, and I really like it. Let's look at some graphs and try to describe that sound for you guys right now. All right, the Elysian Acoustics Lab Apostle. Let's look at the graph. What you notice is a little bit of that bump at 1K, a little bit of energy at 4K, but a significant dip right around the 4 to 6K region, which I really love, and is very similar to the Annihilator. What you'll notice is a lot less upper treble compared to the Annihilator, and the Annihilator has a lot more bass and a different approach to upper mids. Both are really solid sets, and we'll get into that comparison soon, but it's a really overall nice looking graph. As we look at this, I wanted to show this versus an 80 ohm adapter. If you add an 80 ohm adapter, you can buy one from Fat Frequency. They do one that's a 4.4 to 4.4. There's a few other places that can do that, but you can add that in, and it's a fun amount of bass to add into your music without having to do a ton of swapping, and it's a fun thing to do. One thing I did want to note for some people is that there is a shallow and a deep fit on this that might work for people. Let's see if I can actually do that right the way I wanted to. But you'll notice that like when you do a shallow fit, this peak is supposed to align around 8K. That's why I did such a deep fit on the blue line. But on the more shallow line, well, you'll notice that even though it's a little bit further out, that graph looks a little bit more tolerable right around that 5 to 6K dip. And I wanted to point that out if you guys were concerned about that, and it's something to note because a lot of it depends on where it'll sit in your ear. As we look at this versus the Annihilator, we talked about it a bit, but the Annihilator has a little bit more bass. Its upper mids approach are just a little bit more sparkly and detailed. I feel like this 10 to 11K energy gives us a little bit more sparkle and air, which I kind of like. But it can be a little bit intolerable at times depending, and I know some people have complained about the brightness of the Annihilator. The Apostle will not come across as bright at all. It's very dark and very correct to my ear, but you know, your mileage may vary. Another thing to compare this to is the Diva, and if you notice here we have the Diva in white, and you notice its bass level is a little bit low. If we look at other regions like the Diva blue, the Diva and then the blue switch, it's a dip switch setting on it. It's just so much bass that it came across a little bit much for me. And then you get the red setting, which almost gives you no bass. So it's important to note, like if you really like the Diva and one of those settings really works for you, the Apostle may not be the exact improvement to what you have. I really like it. I think it's fantastic, but I would, you know, with any IEM at a certain price, I would recommend demoing it. But there is a different approach, especially in that bass, and I feel like the Apostle really takes that Diva and kind of goes in the next generation, and it does a really neat thing, and I absolutely love what it does. We look at other things like the Monarch Mark II. I think the Monarch Mark II is a really good set. A lot of the frequency curves are the same. You'll notice a little bit more kind of like engaging treble, like there's differences in approaches with these kind of like cat ear, almost peaky 1 and 4K peaks. They do make slight alterations to the sound, making it a little bit different. To me, it makes it, I don't know, a lot of people feel like it pops. I feel it kind of pops, but it just adds a little bit of clarity, and it's a nice approach. But I just want to note that, you know, some people might like one or the other, depending on what you want. I think they're both really good IEMs, depending. For me, I really like the Grand Maestro SE, but like the Apostle just beats it out of the water. It's not a very bassy set, but the treble on the SE just didn't sound right to me. whereas the Apostle just sounds fantastic, and I think the SC is a really bit more of a specialist, and I think you could do better with a little bit of a cheaper set than having to spend as much on the SE. Another set that I really like is the Musa. Now the Musa has fantastic bass, and if you're really after bass, the Musa is going to be probably a better way to go. But they have different approaches to sound. For me, I really like the Apostle, and I think it's the better set. Another one to think about is the Visioneers 10. Has a little bit more kind of lower mid-range, a kind of a different approach to bass. Big reason I want to show this is that the Visioneers 10 is a really good set, but the Apostle has a really unique shell, and I noticed a lot of people, and I even noticed it myself when trying both, that they kind of have this very unique kind of special shell on both of them, and that's just something to note. The Jupiter is something to note. Like if you're really a bass head, something like the Jupiter, which is around the same price, might be the way to go. As far as like build quality, cable, and everything else, the Elysian Acoustic Slab Apostle is better. I also feel that the treble presentation is better than the Apostle, and it's a little bit more pleasing for some. Again, Jupiter is more like a bass head style set, so it may or may not be for what you want. I got to review and AB the Cadenza 12, and the Cadenza 12 is an impressive set, but it lacks like that special umph, and it just kind of feels a little bit laid back, a little bit neutral, and I mean I like it, but it just doesn't excite me. The Apostle excites me. It's a little bit cheaper. I think the build quality on it's a little bit better, like it's kind of a bespoke titanium rather than a fingerprint magnet steel. For me it works better, and I would go with the Apostle any day of the week. Another one, the Chronicle. I mean, the Chronicle is like 6,000. I like the Chronicle, but it has really laid back treble. Its bass isn't super exciting. It's a nice set, good details, good air, but you know, there's something about it that's just not super exciting. And it's $6,000, which is, I don't know, to me a lot. The Triton, my buddy Jonathan has the Triton. He let me borrow it. He also has an Apostle. Enigma Photos, his review will probably be up in about a week. But that's something to note. If you're really looking after something, like the Triton has a ton of bass and is more of a bass head set, and its treble kind of rolls off where you kind of have to dial this up really high to make its treble work. And it's a nice set that's a little bit more relaxed, where the Apostle isn't really relaxed. It's just tonally right and not overly exaggerated like the Annihilator can be, at least for some people's ears. Another set that's very competitive at this price, if you're looking at it, is the Europa. I really like the Europa. I think it has a nice build quality. It didn't fit in my ear very well. Like the Symphonium like IEMs fall out of my ear a little bit, which isn't terrible, but it's just not as comfortable as I might like. But this is a very strong set that has a little bit more bass, a little bit more detail. It might work for you, and I think that's a really solid set. To me, it's the improvement on the Crimson, and I think they just do a better job of it overall. Another one I like a lot is the Terra. I mean, these two trade blows a lot. I really like the Terra, and I think they did a good job with it. But the Apostle, is it worth the money? Is anything worth the money after a few bucks? Hard to say, but I think that's a really strong set like that. The Terra was my IM of the year last year, but the Apostle would beat it. Just kind of shows you how good that Terra really is. The Volume S just came out. Listening to it after listening to the Apostle, it feels a little bit lean and a little bit bright, a little bit of a different tilt. It is a nice set, and it does have this lower mid-range kind of lack of thin mids, which is very nice. I really like what the Apostle does, and I really think they've done a really remarkable job with it, and it's just better to me. But the Volume S is an exceptional IM for those that can't afford it. There's other IMs that are cheaper that I've rated highly. I do think the Apostle is better than. If you like that, I don't know, the Brain Dance, the Juno Brain Dance has a lot of kind of upper treble and kind of detail. I think it's a really nice set, and you can add impedance adapters to make the bass pop, and that's something I really like. I mean, other sets like this, there's other things out there, but like if I had to pick something that's even cheaper that kind of has similar characteristics, similar tonality, actually the Afu P7 has a lot of similar qualities to my ear, although the P7 does have kind of like this spiky at the end, kind of these planars that are kind of a little bit exaggerated, which some people are going to like. and some people might, and that's kind of a lot of concern that people don't like that IEM, don't like. But the Apostle is just smooth in that upper treble and does a lot of things very, very well. All right, the Elysian, you know, in conclusion, I like this set, and it's hard because anticipation for me personally has been really high for this set, and I know anticipation in the community is really high for this set. But having said those things, I think, you know, as long as you're not a bass head, if you're a mid-focus set, if you ever listen to the Diva and you agree with some of my faults with the Diva, that this has better extension, better detail, better space, better technicalities, better crispiness around the music, and just better reproduction. It feels extremely revealing and one of the most technical sets that I've ever experienced. It gets a full recommendation. You know, I absolutely love everything about this set from top to bottom, which doesn't happen too much. I want to apologize if I've been too hyperbolic, but I also tried to be true. And you can notice in a lot of my other reviews, I am a little bit harsh. This is basically my new favorite IEM, and I love it to pieces. Hope you guys get a chance to demo it sometime. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, and I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye. You're still here. It's over. Go home. Oh, you're expecting a teaser for our next video. Well, we don't have that kind of money. What are you expecting? One of those store reviewers to show up in a saucy little leather number? Go. Oh, I can tell you one thing. We are going to have a collab video. We have no idea what it's going to be. Probably Kryn, maybe Chris, or Joyce. Don't deny it. She's got range. Go. Get out of here. Go. 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 Go on with you.